Hello, friends. It was, I don't know, a few months ago. We were talking with some
Younger.
friends.
Hey, you gotta take what you can get.
This is down, I'm not sure if you were there, down in the basement of our old place.
No, I was not there.
Okay. And there was a conversation about what are people's spiritualities and what are they feeling drawn towards. And it was a reminder for me that often it can feel like you have to choose a spirituality.
Mm.
And it's I guess it's explicit in some religions.
Yeah, this is true. It's very plainly stated.
You don't get to be in this religion, and sometimes not even allowed to look or gain wisdom or influences from other
Yeah.
religions. And does that apply to the path of Divine Mother? If we're going to
Huh.
devote ourselves to this path,
It
do we
does.
have to
So,
get rid
so
of
no
everything
other
else?
religions, and you have to send us cookies every
Yeah,
week, and
chocolate chip oatmeal
yeah.
would be
And
nice.
what other rules do?
You're joking about this, but
Oh,
really,
I
there's
know.
people that get sent tons of money to buy their personal jets and stuff.
Yes, I understand.
There's different ways of doing things.
Yeah.
There's
When I
yeah,
was growing up, there was a guy in my church. I grew up in a Lutheran church, and he would always joke about, "Oh, this is how you actually make money. You know, you become a pastor or a religious person, and then you tell people we're having a sermon today, and I feel a demon in your pocket. I can tell it's there. You got some, you got some bad energy burning a hole in that pocket there. Why don't you pull out that wallet? You just take out that money that's burning that hole. There's that demon, and just put it in that collection plate, and you will feel so much lighter and better. You get that demon right off. I'll take care of the demons for you." I mean, religion has been used as an excuse for lots of things that are not so great. But sorry, I digress.
it's almost sounding like we're ranting today.
No, I mean, religion is also responsible for some very many beautiful selfless acts. So I think it just comes down to, oh, this is going to sound kind of weird and some people probably won't like this, but in a way, religion is almost a tool, and it's the user that determines what religion becomes. But okay, that's not the topic. The topic is, in the path of Divine Mother, can you know, have other religions?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you suppose everybody's going to think?
Probably everybody here already knows the
They
answer to that
probably they
question.
probably know us fairly well. I mean, come on. If you're gonna get some ice cream flavors, why can't you choose two or three?
I've been
Or cookies.
really criticized for that in the past. I remember I
Mm.
used to have kind of a Zen website, and there are people that uh, felt like you can't speak about these things unless you are devoted not just to Zen Buddhism only, but to a certain school
Mm.
of Zen Buddhism. And a lot of emphasis is put on lineage. It, it's difficult for us to remember sometimes that many of the things that we think of as ancient set in stone things are things that people created at one point or another, and that over time have shifted and morphed as all things do.
Right.
And so the the martial art, if you go and learn Shotokan today, it's probably not the Shotokan that was taught long ago.
And to this, we're different people
And yeah,
too. Yeah. The culture is completely different. Even if all the moves are the same, we're different people mentally, physically, culturally.
so please go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to jump in and say that I understand some people's perspectives of, hey, don't be blasé about religion, or if you haven't experienced something, how can you comment on it? And I understand that to a degree, right? But I don't think that's what we're talking about here. I'm just reminded of the words "I love you," and there's kind of a couple of different ways to look at that. In our family, we say "I love you" a lot, And we say I love you actually in a very meaningful way, and it generates a feeling of warmth when that happens. But I do know people who have said we never say I love you in our family because it diminishes the importance of it. So I only say I love you, once in a great while, and then you'll know I really mean it. And I can see again where people are coming from with that, but I guess I'm more of the let's just have love all the time. Maybe the love is always there. I'm just saying I understand where people are coming from when they say, hey, this lineage is important, or if you haven't studied this for a long time, you can't necessarily understand the deeper workings. Yet, I feel that we should be allowed to have multiple experiences and to look at all sorts of different information to a degree.
I mean, probably we're drawn to the path of Divine Mother because we we want to explore the world. We want to have a relationship with the universe, and we're seeking a way to do that. And to me, there's something very refreshing about hearing that I don't have to hold to only one perspective. That I could be on this path of Divine Mother, and I can still read up on cool scientific articles because science is trying to understand and what the world is.
Yeah.
And I can read my books on Zen Buddhism and look at the old Taoist tales and enjoy those and realize that all these traditions are maybe seeking essentially the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
just from different paths. And I love being on a path that says all of these things are creations of Divine Mother.
Yeah.
All of this is our clues to the secret. We don't have to, it's not that we even have to say, okay, we're going to do the path of Divine Mother and Zen Buddhism.
Right.
It's that the path of Divine Mother embraces all of these different viewpoints and says, these are all part of the game. These are all part of the adventure. Explore them. See what's in them. They're all there for us.
Yeah. I think that it's really nice to feel, for me, this is for me personally, that I can gain information and life experience through all kinds of different religions, different interactions. And I think in a way it reminds me of the Buddha in a sense, who's saying, don't just take dogma and doctrine to be the truth. What do you see? What do you experience? What do you know to be true for you? And to me, then I don't get caught up in, we talked about shoulds a while back. And I think sometimes when we're corralled by one perspective, religion, whatever, that we can get into the, well, this is what I'm supposed to do, this is what I should do, even if inside of us we feel called to do something different. And so I like the idea of the freedom to, in a way, make my own religion, spirituality as I go along, and certainly see the value in parts of different religions. It's challenging for me when someone just outright says, "Oh, well, that sucks. They're so wrong," and everything. Because I think, well, can't we learn something from almost anything if we actually look at it? So, I like being called to be more open and be more receptive, and in each situation or life experience to ask, what is there that can reach me and shift me within that?
Yeah. And you're bringing up something important, which is our internal state, which often we're not even aware of regarding this whole idea, because we can talk prettily about it and give ourselves permission and say, yes, look at various paths and wisdoms, read different things, and explore. But often inside of us, there's been some training, especially if we grew up in a religious context, that is very exclusive. And you'll see it sometimes, I feel like, in people that were brought up in a very rigid, usually often fundamentalist Christian kind of community. And then they break away from that and they'll become, for instance, atheist, but they will be just as rigidly atheist. It's as if that training that they received in that rigidity
Right.
has remained and they're no longer able to see.
The mindset or perspective just latches onto a different thing. So
Right.
the mindset hasn't shifted, just the belief system. Yeah.
Right. And so, much healthier when we see someone that comes over to atheism and says, here's where I am right now, but I'm exploring.
Right.
That should be really what any of these quests are, or continual exploration. Yeah. Whether I want to be a scientist, or I'm going to be a Christian, or I'm going to be whatever I'm going to be. If I'm exploring, if I'm wanting to deepen that relationship with the world, then I'm always looking. And it's important, I think, to see that within ourselves, where we might have judgments that just don't even look at something.
Yes, that's really important. I think it can get tricky because we can believe that we're right and we can want to be correct. I know someone who is scientific minded, and that is the only way. And as you were talking about the person shifting from fundamental Christianity to fundamental atheism, whatever, not switching the mindset, this person is so strong in that mindset that science is the only thing that it feels very much like talking to someone who is radically religious, because there's no other, there's no out, there's nothing else but this one thing. And I think then we do ourselves and the world a disservice if we don't at least examine another point of view, say, what can I learn from this? Or maybe grant, hey, there are really great people out there who are fill in the blank. And I don't know, it's kind of important right now that we allow for ourselves to explore on our path. And as you're saying, cultivate that mindset that has curiosity about everything, who wants to learn, who wants to evolve, and have that be kind of the basis of our spirituality versus, this textbook version, this doctrine, this dogma. Of course, in our culture, we want to follow. We want there to be something. And that's the kind of the bigger picture of this, is that when you walk a path like the path of Divine Mother, where you're allowing all these other things, that there's ambiguity, that you can't always, no one's going, here, Kenton, here's your clothing, here's what you can eat, here's what you can do, here's what you can think. And sometimes we're kind of desperate for that in our culture. Just tell me the right answer. Give me the pill to take, And this does not, it isn't a quick fix. It isn't instant gratification.
Yes. Yeah, you can see the paths. If you look at world religions, the ones that give you a very clear, here's exactly what to believe, here it is.
Yeah.
They tend to do better than something like Zen Buddhism, which looks ambiguous, ambiguous. And sure enough, you go into it and nobody's giving you any answers, and that's uncomfortable.
Right.
Then you also, as you talked about here, I feel like you also get that social connection, because when you go into a religion or a belief system that has all those answers, there's going to be lots of people around you, and they're all going to have the same answers, and be sure.
Right. And that makes you feel so much better.
Yeah. Yes, you believe this? Yes.
I know.
Okay.
We're such herd animals in a way. We're sheeple. and we want to just belong and not stand out. And yet, I also think that we truly long for something that's unique to us, because each one of us is unique. There's no one hard and fast rule that's going to apply to every situation all of the time, to all people in all places. Life is messy, and in a way, that's the beauty of it. And so it is more work. It's work. I don't know the right word. And yet, I think it's a rewarding work, because if we show up to, ask the questions that say, keep us open minded, ask for where am I involved, and not just put it on someone else. I don't know. That's how I want to continue to live, even though sometimes I can understand the allure of, hey, just give me the answers. I'll just follow that. I can cross off, yep, went to church. Yeah. But then there's not a relationship with Divine Mother in the same way.
There's usually not, I feel like, a continued growth often when we stop exploring, essentially, because we've been given the answers, and then we don't deepen our relationship with God. We don't continue to explore science and learn new things about evolution. Mm-hmm. For atheist, we can be an awesome atheist, and we can keep learning and exploring and trying to learn more about evolution and questioning the modern paradigms and exploring. Yeah. And that's a fulfilling path that's filled with exploration and questioning. So I almost feel like, there's not much that I would say beware of this, but I'd always red flag if someone says, this is the path, you must stick to this teaching alone. Yeah. There's something going on that person obviously believes strongly, that they have found not only the path that works for them, but maybe the path. And certainly if they're saying that to you, the path that will work for you. And do they know you better than you know yourself? To me, it's almost something to be careful of, and to step back and say, maybe I don't need to attach myself so blindingly to a single thing, but I can explore.
Yeah, it's kind of, in a way, reshaping what we think of spirituality or religion. Getting beyond the different boxes, the different, it's like a cereal box on the shelf, and you're like, okay, I'm going to pick this one out. I'm going to be Christian, or, whatever. And instead it's kind of, trying to create your own in a way, or live within one, but be really open. We have a really good friend who is Christian and an amazing person, and she is so always just finding what she can find, like the best in people and an experience she has, and other religions and what they might have to say, and how that can apply to her religion or her relationship with God. And I have always found that to be very inspiring, because I think in my mind that that's what, true Christianity looks like, is that open, loving, exploring dialogue that we have with the divine. So what do you do if you are in a religion, but you're curious about other ones, and yet you also are unsure? What's a good path forward?
It's hardest if sometimes we're in a relationship with people around us who are in that religion as well. Mm-hmm. So we're a child of parents who belong to a religion like that, or we're married to somebody who's part of that. I think we have to explore. And, I'm not going to say this with parent-child relations, but obviously parent-child relations have their own ups and downs and turmoils. But certainly in a marriage or some kind of relationship like that, if someone is only going to have a relationship with you if you believe this exact thing, and they can't tolerate you exploring, again, that's telling us something. And ideally we'd be able to communicate with the people in our lives and say, I recognize that this path is really
Mm-hmm.
strong for you and powerful for you, but I have some questions about it and I want to be able to explore some other things. And I can do that alone, or I can
Right.
invite you to explore with me. And which would you be interested in?
Yeah. I think there's a lot to when we have beliefs that are different than the people around us. And the one beautiful thing about the path of Divine Mother is that if you are interested in exploring a relationship with her, with something else other than where you find yourself socially, you can have that relationship with her or whatever it is, just with yourself. And so, in a beautiful way, until you feel ready or strong enough, you can continue to cultivate something within you. So, it's not like you can't have it. Obviously, it would be ideal if you could communicate with other people, and yet maybe you're just not ready, or the other person isn't ready, or whatever. And so, then the nice thing is you can still check in and say, hey, Divine Mother, I'm really struggling here. Can you be with me? Can you guide me? And kind of go along and see how things can change.
Mm.
Yeah.
In the comments, if you are a person who's struggling with your current belief system, this is a place that you can
Yeah.
ask us about it or ask other people here and see if you get some various perspectives. And of course, it would always be fun to hear what influences
Yeah.
have shaped your current
Yeah.
belief system, your current frame for looking at the world.
Yeah. What other pathways? I like to think of them all as pathways that lead to the same destination in the end.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear that. That's to me what's really
Philosophies.
beautiful is all the different ways that people have found throughout history and different cultures to come closer to that place that doesn't have any words to describe it. So share with us.
All right, friends.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching, being here with us.
So awesome.
And we'll talk with you in the comments.
Mwah.